Well, hello, everyone. This is your girl, Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, and just want to let you know we will begin broadcasting shortly. But as always, I want to take a few minutes to ask you to share this out and remember, we believe in the power of three. Power of three. So make sure that you share this out to at least three groups or invite at least three people because we are going to have conversations from the C-suite and we don't want to be having conversations by ourselves. So make sure that you invite somebody who needs to check out of Heartbreak Hotel. So I'm going to take a few minutes to share it out myself. I want to make sure that I invite some people here. And just want to get ready for another great conversation from the C-suite. So we will be getting started shortly, and I am looking forward to having another great episode of Conversations from the C-suite, the girlfriend's guide to being the CEO. So make sure you share it out, the power of three, invite at least three people, share it out to at least three groups. I want you to make sure you get your favorite beverage, hang tight, and invite. Okay, there we go. All right, all right. Well, you know what time it is. It is time to have conversations from the C-suite. And I just want to take a few minutes to make sure that I am out there. So if you have joined, please put something in the feed and let me know if you can hear me because I am actually live from offsite. I'm in Houston, Texas today. I'm not from my normal studio. So, sometimes when you are not in your normal studio, things don't go as planned. And right now, my screen isn't moving, but I want to make sure that you can hear me. So if you can hear me out there, please put something in the feed. Say, hey, girl, how you doing? Because I do want to make sure that we are live. Because I'm looking at it on one screen. I think I'm moving. But on my producer screen, I seem to be still. So I think I'm good. But anyway, if you can hear me, let me know. But we are going to get started. So I just want to say welcome to Conversations from the C-Suite. I am your girl, Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, your host for this evening. And I want to welcome you to the C-Suite, to Conversations from the C-Suite, the girlfriend's guide to being a CEO. And every woman needs to be the CEO of her life. We work hard to elevate our mindsets, and we want to make sure that here in the C-suite, we are truly making the decisions. Now, what is the C-suite? In any company, that's where the decisions are made. And so we want you to be the CEO of your life so that you can truly make the decisions to create the life you desire and deserve. So being a CEO simply means that you are the one who's responsible for executing. That's why it's chief executive officer, because chief executive officers get things done. So regardless of where you are on your journey, if you are a CEO on the rise, you are just getting started in being the CEO of your life. You are building your skills. You are building your boss moves. You are building your power. Welcome to the C-suite. Or you may be a CEO on the move. You made a few CEO moves. You got some things going on, but you are wanting to be better. And then you may even be the CEO, where you are the CEO of your life, but you are ready to take it to even higher level. You are in the right place. Welcome to the Conversations from the C-Suite, the Girlfriend's Guide to Being a CEO. And here, we want to have powerful conversations about real things that real women face every day, because life doesn't end when we leave the office. We have things that happen outside the office that affect us, who we are inside the office. And it's just a little circle, a little cycle that keeps going round and round. And here, remember, we don't want to just have a conversation. We're not just talking for the sake of hearing ourselves. We want you to feel something. We want you to learn something. But most importantly, we want you to do something. That's right. Make those CEO moves. Being a CEO boils down to three things: creating circles of influence so that you can connect to people and opportunities that connect you to your next level. Educate and empower yourself so that you can be elevated to your next level. And finally, operationalize what you learn so that you can optimize your outcomes. That's what a true CEO move is. So we want to make sure that we are having those CEO moves, and we're making those CEO moves and really getting it done. So whether you report to a CEO or you are the CEO of your own business, you are the CEO of your life. So are you ready? Are you ready to truly enter the C-suite of your life? Are you ready to have those real conversations that help you to get to the next step in your life? Well, if you are in the right place. So let's get started with making these CEO moves, because today we're not Elvis, but we're going to check out of the Heartbreak Hotel. It is important for us to really think about surviving the breakup. And I know I ain't the only one who has experienced a breakup. We all go through breakups of different kinds. You may be experiencing a breakup and you can't figure out how to break through to your next. You may have experienced a breakup and you just can't quite get it together. Things ain't quite the same. You may have, experienced something that is creating a barrier to your success. So if that is something that you are facing, the child, it is time for you to check out of the Heartbreak Hotel, because heartbreaks can leave you, or breakups rather, can leave you feeling heartbroken, broken, and just plain old broke down. And the process of grieving lost love can take a toll on you mentally and physically. So today we're going to have a candid conversation, a conversation from the C-suite about preserving our mental health during the process of mending a broken heart. So without any further ado, y'all, I want to bring to the stage the one and only Shelia Rivers. And, if you have been tuning into previous episodes of Conversation from the C-Suite, you know this powerhouse, this powerful CEO that I'm about to bring to the virtual stage. She is a licensed certified social worker and the CEO of Rivers Psychotherapy LLC. I just can't talk today. I get so excited. But she is a CEO in her own right. She's a mother. She's a therapist. She's a CEO. She's a student. She's actively pursuing her doctorate degree and soon will be Dr. Shelia Rivers. So without any further ado, I want to bring to the stage my girl, Shelia Rivers. Hey.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Barnes.
Yes, of course.
We are excited this evening to talk about the breakup breaking up from healthy, unhealthy relationships. So I'm ready to get started whenever you are. This is a big topic for me and
Yeah.
surviving the breakup. So some of
Yes.
us don't survive the breakup. We still holding on of trying to break up the breakup.
Oh,
So
I know. We got to break through that breakup and just go on, break through that. So, as always, we want to start out with the who, the what, and the when. Who, the what, and the why. Tell us who you are. I've shared a little bit of that. Tell us what you do. I've shared a little bit of that. But tell us why it is that you make the CEO moves that you do.
awesome. Again, I'm Shelia Rivers, licensed certified social worker. Also have my master's in public health. I am the owner and chief therapist. Obviously, both of us can't talk this
I know
evening.
we're just tongue tied today. We can't break through these broken speech, huh?
I'm the owner and chief therapist here at Rivers Psychotherapy Services. We're located at 2218 18th Street here in Gulfport, Mississippi. Why I do what I do, oh my gosh, I could go on and on with this one, but I'll try and pick one particular topic is I survived. Therefore, it is my duty and purpose to help others survive.
Yes, yes. That is the beautiful thing, about when we go through our periods of brokenness. Sometimes whatever that is, we can dwell on the brokenness, but the thing is that it truly empowers you to help someone else. And we can either kind of turn into ourselves or do as you have. And this is, we all do it in our own ways, but turn our brokenness into helping something very powerful that helps us to help other people.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, without any further ado, I want to ask the question to our viewers if we have any out there. Do we have any viewers? I can't see that.
Yeah, we do. We do. We've got some out there. So, of course, we always want to make sure that we share it out. So those of you who have joined us, make sure that you invite someone else, because I'm sure you know somebody that needs to check out a Heartbreak Hotel, right?
Right. Dr. Barnes, I'll let you go ahead and get started this evening.
All right. Well, it's so interesting that Shelia chose this topic because we have been on this journey over the past. This is our 4th episode where we've really been exploring mental wellness, mental health, because as the CEO of our lives, it is so important for us to protect our most powerful asset, which is our minds. And so that's why we are laying the foundation of being the CEO of our lives with the most powerful asset that we have. And, it is so powerful, and I don't mean to overuse that word, when we get to what I call the precipice of facing, a breakup. And I kind of am dramatic with it and say that, when you're at a precipice, when you're at the edge of that cliff, and there's all this brokenness behind you, you have the option of falling to the bottom or deciding that you're going to fly. And, that is a very tough decision. And obviously that's a allegorical or what's the word? It's not an analogy, a metaphor. That's the word I'm looking for. A metaphor for that decision to truly move from breakup to breakthrough. But it can have its mental toll on you. It takes a toll on you mentally because anytime you suffer a loss of any kind, whether it is a breakup, whether it is the death of a loved one, whether it is, the end of a relationship, marriage, friendship, any other, romantic relationship, it has an impact on you mentally. And so it's really important for us to recognize that the process of moving from breakup to breakthrough is indeed a process. So Shelia, I want to turn it over to you and just, get your thoughts. For those of us out there, it's no secret. I have gone through my breakup. I done checked out a Heartbreak Hotel and have given up that frequent flyer card. I don't want the rewards card or nothing. I'm out, right? I've decided I'm going to move on. So, but it was easy, yet it wasn't. It was simple, yet it's complex. And so Shelia, I just want you to just speak to, for those of us who have gone through a breakup, what impact does that truly have on us mentally? I mean, what does that do to our psyche? What does it do to us as we're trying to begin that process of mending our broken hearts.
Okay, so I want to back up. Before we even get to the breakup, we need to decide that this is an unhealthy relationship. So that can be even deciding, it's almost like going to Walmart without a grocery list.
Oh, yeah.
Because you end up with things in your cart that you don't necessarily want.
Yes.
Okay. And so you end up in a relationship that you don't want because you haven't decided what is it that I want from a relationship.
Mm.
And so making step one, decide what you want. Okay. Decide what it is that you want. And then if you're this person that's causing you so much grief and having you or you're deciding to be in an unhealthy relationship, is this person, do they fit your checkoff list? We all have checkoff lists. People say we don't, we do. Everybody has this checkoff list of what they want in their mate and what they see in their mate. So let's go back to a little bit about what is it that you want in a relationship? Let's decide that. And the things that you want, are they reasonable?
Yeah.
Yes. And can you return what you're asking for?
Oh, that.
If you ask for a millionaire, then and you're not quite financially stable, then it has to make sense, okay, right, to be in that relationship. So let's think about that.
Yeah. I want to stop right there and talk about that list because, I know I have a list. I have a list that actually I began this list while I was married, and it was during the process of my ex-husband and I were going through marital counseling. This was, years before we got a divorce. But, I had to think about what I wanted out of this relationship. And so that list evolved into now, what it is that I want in a man. And it's so interesting. You talked about the list from both sides. Because one of the things that I had to do was it started out with what are the things that I deserve in a husband? What are the things that I deserve in a husband? So I really thought about it from just not something superficial, material, but just truly thinking about who I am and what it is that I deserve. And then I made a second list of what I deserve or what my husband would deserve from me, thinking about if I truly wanted to deserve this husband who exhibited these characteristics, what were the characteristics that I had to exhibit to be able to match that energy? But, a lot of us, we make some lists that are really high standards that, are they, just kind of, as we're making that list, what are some things we need to be thinking about to make a list that's reasonable, as you mentioned, and then kind of what's the difference between a reasonable list and settling for something?
Oh, yes. Wow. Yeah. Reasonable list would be things that you could give back to the relationship also. So if it's financial security, and I keep talking about finance because that's one of the big things in a relationship. If it's loyalty, are you loyal? If you're asking for a loyal partner, in what areas or in your life are you loyal? You say you want to go to, and I'll just throw this out here. You say you want to go to the gym 3 times a week. Are you loyal to going to the gym 3 times a week? So loyalty spreads throughout your friendships, throughout your mental care, throughout your finance. I mean, you must be loyal throughout all of these categories in your life. So when you look for those things, make sure it's something that you can also give back.
Yes, because one of the things, that I decided, after my divorce was, well, first of all, I decided that, that even though that was the end of the relationship, it was not the end of me. It was not the end. And, I made a decision that I would find love again, wasn't going to push it. And, it would happen when it would happen. But one of the big decisions that I made for myself was that because I wanted love again, that I needed to be love and act like love, and that would attract the love I deserve. And I think a lot of times, when we're building our lists, we focus on what we want from them and what they need to do and what they don't need to do, but we don't do the same thing for ourselves. And then we kind of wonder, why aren't we attracting the man we deserve? You know,
the law of attraction.
Oh yeah, the law of attraction. So I tell you, one of the most revealing moments. I remember, because I dated after my divorce, and like a couple of dudes I dated, I'm like, why did I even waste my time? Just because they didn't fit my list. They didn't even fit the list. Why was I even wasting my time? And then I noticed a certain pattern with the kind of guy, that I was attracting, and then I had to think about, why was that? And it was all about my decisions, because one of the things that's so important for us to recognize in relationships is, we teach people how to treat us. We teach people how to engage with us. And it's kind of like what you accept is what you teach others. And so we really have to be mindful of that, and to model what it is, how it is we want people to treat us, or how we treat ourselves, and how we interact. But yeah.
Right. So deciding on the list, and if the things that you have that you're getting in your current relationship that you're trying to break up from, right? Decide that is unhealthy. Right. We're going back to the first question you asked me. Deciding that is unhealthy. Make a clean break.
That is, yes. Yeah. Yes.
Throw one side to the left, and throw one side to the right when you make the clean break, so you can't put it back together again. And make sure when you make that clean break that it is your decision.
Right.
Not a decision based on what your girlfriend said, not a decision based on, what your mama told you, not a decision based on, what his friends said, but it is a decision that you make for you. Because what I do know is when I make a decision for me, there's no changing my mind.
Yeah. Right. And I just want to say, because I'm a big nerd, and one of the most powerful moments, have a lot of powerful moments, but one of the most powerful moments in my life was when I really thought about what the word decide means. And, at the root of the word decide is the root word side, which means to kill all options, to, remove all options. And when you think, and you just reiterated this when you talked about, when you make your decision, there's no going back. And that's what decisions truly are. And that's what makes us powerful as CEOs. Is what makes us powerful as lovers. Is what makes us powerful as in a relationship, is being able to make those decisions that you're going to kill off all other options, but the ones that lead to what it is you say you want. You can't be wishy-washy about it. You can't be lukewarm. You say you want one thing, but the way you act is different. So we truly have to be firm in our decisions, and, right or wrong, because now again, what I don't think it means is that you never change course and that you're like inflexibly committed to a decision when you see it's not working, but then you empower yourself to make another decision. But it's not, just something you just being wishy-washy about. You know your goal you're trying to get to, and you commit to doing that.
One thing I know as women, as female patients that come in and going through this breakup, is pay attention to the signs. We see the signs way before we really even make a decision in this breakup. Pay attention to the signs. The signs are there.
Yeah.
Those red flags. Trust your gut instinct. Trust your intuition. So many times as women, we've been taught that we can't trust ourselves, can't trust our gut, and I have to really disagree with that, because there's so many times when my gut would say, Shelia, now this is not for you. Why are you in this?
Yeah.
You have conversations with yourself, and you be like, self?
Yeah.
listen to what you're saying, listen to what you're doing, see what you're doing in your life.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those things. This is sometimes you're way out of character.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he done moved in with you and your kids. What?
Yeah.
You're all out of character.
Right.
And especially for a CEO.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You know, because you talked about, you're following your intuition. And I think, as women, this is something that we often discredit because, I'll just say for myself, I'm a very smart woman. I got the credentials to back it up. I got a couple of degrees and, I did pretty good academically, so from an intelligence perspective, I'm kind of smart. But then, I think about a lot of the dumb decisions I make. And I just used to be like, I made some dumb decisions, particularly as it relates to some of my relationships. I look back on it, I'm like, girl, what the hell were you thinking? And the thing was, it's so funny or so ironic or so whatever. I'm thinking about relationships. I'm thinking about my marriage. I'm thinking about the people I've dated, since my divorce, for the relationships that have ended, I can always look at the decision point where I knew that there was something that was predictive of the outcome. I'm not surprised my marriage ended. I'm not surprised at all. It was not a shock to me, even though it was a shock, but it wasn't. But but I know the decision point years before that led to that moment. And a couple of guys I dated for a little bit. I knew the first time I met him, I'm like, because I read people, I got a little piece of intuition, and then you make a decision to proceed anyway. We got to just, I'm just going to say this. Women as CEOs of our lives and our relationships, particularly, whether it's a professional relationship, whether it is a personal relationship, romantic relationship, trust your gut. When you meet that person, and there's something that says it ain't right, it ain't right. I'm just telling you, it just ain't right. And you need to trust that.
Yes, very much so. And I've learned that the older I've gotten, I've learned that in any kind of relationship, business, like you said, romantic relationships, it's okay for us to say, you know what? I really think you're an amazing person, but right now, this is not going to be good for me.
Yep.
That is my signature speech here lately. Yeah. If it's not good for me, then I'm okay with shaking hands and walking away.
You better chuck the deuce, baby. Chuck the deuce or give him half, either one. But but that is something that we truly have to give ourselves permission to recognize when someone is not good for us and not think that because they are a good person that we have to endure the things about them that are detrimental to us, because all good people ain't good for you. And all good things for you ain't good. I'm just going to say they be good to you, but it ain't good for you. And we really need to be honest with ourselves about when we're making those decisions and when we are abdicating, you the CEO, you in the C-suite, and you letting somebody down in the mailroom make decisions, and we do that all the time. And we got a certain little mailroom down there that be making all kind of oh, it's so good. He's so good. He looks so good. And be like, Come on, y'all. Get out the mailroom. Get out the mailroom. Stop letting the mailroom make decisions for you. You the CEO of your life. Oh my God. We truly have to do that and trust ourselves and trust that intuition and not think that, we have to settle, because I do think a lot of times we settle for things because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be by ourselves. We want to be with someone. And we got to stop doing that.
I remember at the age of about mid-30s, when we start to get in this crisis mode as women and we're single and we don't have anybody and we kind of bouncing from relationship to relationship, then we get in this panic desperate mode. So now we're gonna make somebody our man. Okay. He's gonna fit the criteria because now we're in desperate mode. We're accepting anything. We accept the men in the mailroom. I didn't have my share of mailroom men.
I was gonna say something. Now, maintenance man is a little different, but anyway, we're not gonna go there. We talking about. I'm sorry, I ain't got but wine. Somebody said they need their church fan. I know it's good. You know, we do this thing between the maintenance man and the mailroom man. What we talk about here is that's a whole other conversation,
right?
I'm sorry, my bad.
That's okay. But I was just gonna say is that we get in this desperate mode because now we try to fit in what society says. I remember my daddy asking me one time. Y'all know I love my daddy. I loved him. He had came down for dinner, and I love to cook. I'm from the South. I love to cook. I love getting in the kitchen, just making up some stuff. I have friends come over sometimes. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, just taste it and be quiet. And so now I have to fight them off in order to, hey, did you make some more of that special dip stuff? I'm like, no, I didn't make any more of that. I thought you didn't like it. So anyway, my dad had come down and I had cooked for him. And he says, I don't understand why you single as good as you can cook. So in my mind, not to be disrespectful to my daddy, I said, well, I just choose to. And in my mind, I'm saying, cooking ain't what they're looking for, daddy.
They looking for some cookies, not no cooking. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Right. So we try to, society says, our family says, people impose their own thoughts about singleness. And it's almost like you're wearing the scarlet letter A because, you're single. You don't have to be ashamed because you're single, and you don't have to accept anything because you are single. Don't be in that desperate mode to fit in what society says. By the age of 35, you should be married. You should have these things. You should be buying a house. You should be. And maybe that's not your place right now, is to be married. Or, I would rather see my patients walk in the office, be single and healthy, or in a dysfunctional relationship and unhealthy and stressed out, depressed. And now we're needing medication. And we're trying to put the pieces back to our life because we can't function from being in this dysfunctional relationship.
And, you hit on a very important point about, how society basically shames single women, particularly women who have aspirations, in the workplace, in the marketplace, because, we're not going to college just to get a husband these days. We're not, we're not just we want a career, and it's all about being the CEOs of your life. And the thing that, that I don't want people to take away from this is not about I don't need a man. Hey, I need one. Okay. All right. But I don't need just anyone. All right. But what I'm saying is we have to be true CEOs of our lives and decide that, being single is okay. It is not a shameful status. It is not, the scarlet letter. It just happens to be where I am now while I am waiting for the man that is for me. Because I think we allow society to pressure us into being in relationships so that we're not single, because, that's one of the first questions that often, especially your older relatives, going to ask, well, when you get married, when you going to have kids? It's not your business, first of all.
But we don't want to be disrespectful. We don't want to be disrespectful to them, So
you don't have to be disrespectful. You had to find your polite way to say that. But that's one thing as CEOs that we've got to decide, that we don't have to settle for anything, and who we are is who we are. And I truly believe that there is a man for every woman, and we don't have to, and a lot of times it's because we're looking for love in all the wrong places, because we're trying to get to a status instead of trying to make those true connections. So before we go into this point a little further, I just want to take a sponsored break and just say that this episode was brought to you by Deciding on Joy, my journey from breakup to breakthrough in 30 days. Deciding on Joy is an eloquent story of the journey from breakup to breakthrough. It helps you to stand boldly on the precipice of your rebirth and prepare to fly. It equips you to draw on the best of your life to make the best of a devastation and create a brilliantly beautiful new life. It is the roadmap for the rediscovery of the person who had the power all along to create the life she always dreamed of. It's scheduled for release this September, so please go over to www.decidingonjoy.com to get your free chapters and learn how you can pre-order your book. So again, thank you so much to Deciding on Joy, our sponsor for this evening. And if you are interested in being a sponsor on Conversations from the C-Suite, please send an email with the subject line CSS sponsorship to Stephanie at drstephaniedbarnes.com. And this is a conversation, y'all. We got some good conversation going on in the comments, and I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to those who have joined us. I want to give a shout out to Christy Iwachukwu. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got Nisi Croft in the house. And one of the cool comments that Nisi said, she'd been married for 35 years. Her marriage ended and it was like a death, a funeral, even though she initiated the divorce. And, the breakup of a marriage, I don't care if it's 35 years, 35 days, it is truly a loss, but the person is still alive. And sometimes you want to be dead, but, we ain't going to try to kill nobody. But anyway, want to give a shout out to Marsha White. Thank you so much for joining us. Marie Shepherd, she says, evening CEOs. We've got Yolanda Purnell. That's the one who said, Yolanda said she need to get her church fans, and we talk about maintenance men and carrying on up in here. But we just want to thank y'all so much for joining. And the thing that I want to say to you is that, this is indeed a conversation. So if you have questions, if you have comments, please put them in the feed. And we're going to have a Q&A at the end to address any of your questions. So be thinking about things that you want to talk to Shelia about. And, what we're transitioning into or the conversation that we were having is the importance of truly being the CEOs of our lives and deciding that we deserve better than a toxic relationship. We deserve, it used to be a saying, or is still a saying, what half a man is better than no man at all. That's the biggest piece of bull, you'd have ever heard. Don't let nobody tell you what you gonna do with half a man. Anyway, but the point is truly that, we don't need to settle for toxic relationships that are not good for us. And there's a big range. You got the little bit of toxic, then you got the just downright narcissists who are abusive, either mentally or physically. And the thing is, we've got to recognize, and I don't say this pejoratively, but we had to recognize crazy when we see it. And what I mean by that is, following our intuition. And when we know that this is not what is for us, to act upon that, including, being in a relationship for the sake of saying that you're in one. So, Sheila, I want you to just kind of touch upon, truly, what are some things, some signs that women in particular need to look for when we're choosing a mate, when we're choosing someone even to date, or just in the early stages of a relationship, those things that we need to be paying attention to that are those earmarkers, if you will, or red flags for, this ain't the one for us.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I have seen is in with those early emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I like you. Mm. And even something is, I love you. We've only known each other 3 weeks. Not unless we spend a lot of time together. I'm not saying it's impossible, but early emotions is one. Jealousy. Possession.
Y'all put that in the figure. Some woman out here needs to hear this and needs to know this. So the first sign is early emotions, where y'all been dating a week and already they love you, they want to marry you, and they ready to take you home to meet their mama.
Yes.
Red flag. The
Red
second
flag.
thing was jealousy.
Yes.
Because I always like the Maya Angelou quote that, jealousy is like salt. A little bit of salt adds flavor. And I'm messing it up, but a whole lot of salt is deadly. And it's same,
yes,
because you want somebody who is at least interested in you and kind of cares, and that little healthy piece of jealousy in the sense of that they value you, but you don't want no crazy dude that who you talking to, what's going on. If you don't have that basic level of trust, you need to give him half the peace sign. Don't even give him one. Don't give him the whole one. But anyway, go on. Jealousy. What's the next thing, Sheila? What we need to be looking out for?
Possession. What to wear? You like that, but I don't want you to wear it out anywhere. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Possession.
Mm-hmm.
It just left my mind here. I'm so sorry. Abusiveness, like controlling, having power and control over you and the relationship. A lot of times we see that as, oh, that's so cute. Like you said, make a little bit of that, but sometimes even in our relationships, we lack boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure you have very clear boundaries about yourself of what you will allow, and that little bit of jealousy, like you said, a little bit is healthy for a relationship. But when we go overboard and it becomes power and control,
violent,
right? Then when those things turn violent,
because I never will forget. I'm just gonna comment. I never will forget there was this guy I dated. I went out on a date with him, and the first date we went out on, he may as well just been wearing a red flag. But we were talking about following your intuition. We were just kind of sitting around talking, just kind of the little chit chatting that you do on a date. And I can't remember what I said. We said, "I'm gonna beat your ass," and laughed and kept going. I was like, my whole antenna went up. Now he said it joking. I kind of looked at him like, "Girl, I'm just joking." And something told me like, he ain't joking. He meant it. Yes. He meant that. And so that was our last date. I cut the date short. I was like, we're gonna wind this up real quick. And interestingly, that same guy ended up dating another woman I knew later, and the relationship ended up being abusive. He was very controlling. He cut her off from all of his friends. And so that's why when they joke like that, real men, sane people that's got all their mental wellness together, they don't joke about beating you up. That ain't a joke, and we have to, again, put those boundaries up and recognize, what's healthy and what's not. So, that's something that as CEOs of our lives that we truly have to commit to doing.
Yes. Pay attention to the flags. Please pay attention to the red flags.
Yeah, because some of them got there waving them flags for you, handing the flags till you hand the flag back. Like, it's okay, boo. He's so cute. No, he ain't. He crazy.
Some of them are like those airline when you see them on the runway. Yeah.
And we just ignore it, we just ignore it because we don't want that to be true. Yeah.
And but I want a little piece here. If you feel like that you are not able to set clear boundaries or make healthy decisions, then that's when you need to start seeking professional help. Not your girlfriends, not his friends, not your mom and them. You need at that point to say, I know something's not right. And I just need somebody else from the outside to help me sort out the pieces of this puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay. So it becomes very clear what the puzzle is.
Yeah.
Because we can see stuff. I see so many things in my office that are abusive in relationships. And so when I pull it out on a sheet of paper and say, this is what verbal abuse is, and I say, check off those things that you are experiencing right now. And when you've got over half the page checked, then it makes a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
And now it's there in your face.
Right. So, you bring up a very good point, or a very important thing for us to consider is, when is going to your girlfriend enough? And when do you, need to go to a therapist, and what's the difference? Because I'm sure a lot of us out there who are watching is thinking, well, this is something I can go talk to my girlfriend about. I can talk to my mama about it. But, what is the difference? And from a mental health perspective, what is it that you do for a woman who is either pre-breakup because she's in the toxic relationship, or she's post-breakup, that she's finally the relationship is ended, whether it's of her own accord or not? What is it that you do that helps, that a girlfriend can't do, and is really a part of their mental health treatment?
My part in that is education.
Mm-hmm.
Not that your girlfriend can't educate you on these things, but my part is from a professional standpoint to do some psychoeducation about what it is that you're in that's dysfunction.
Yeah.
And so just as I said, I'm going to give it to you in black and white. When you walk out of my office, I'm a firm believer of having homework and therapy, because we only spend 1 hour together, and your therapy really starts when you leave me. So when I put something in your hand and I say, I need you to every day check off these dysfunctional relationship characteristics that you see every day in your relationship, check them off every day for the next 7 days, bring it back, and I want to talk about it. Your girlfriend doesn't say, here, take this list and go look at it. So we'll say, girl, let's have some wine and talk about it. And before long, we just drunk and over the relationship.
But you raised such an important point about how important it is for us to recognize dysfunction. And I think, I just speak for myself, it's kind of some of the things I observed growing up and in the community, and what my idea of a relationship was. I didn't have a full appreciation for the high level of dysfunction, that I saw. And so, one of the things that I have really committed to, since my divorce, is being really reflective and thinking about, how do I move forward, and how do I position myself to where this is not where I end up again, and just really thinking about, my perception of relationships, my perception of what function is, my perception of what love is even. And we have to come face to face with what dysfunction is. And I think for our girlfriends, a lot of us, they don't know the difference. We don't know the difference. And so it's like the blind leading the blind. And that's where having that help from a therapist who's objective, who's emotionally disconnected from the situation, and can just put it out there in black and white. And you look at it like, that's dysfunction. That's dysfunction. That's dysfunction. And that's something that we have to truly be committed to doing.
Yeah, your girlfriend, she's got the diesel already in the trunk of her car with some matches saying, we going to burn this house down. My girlfriend, she gonna show up with garbage bags and a shovel with no questions.
Right. And and even though that may be what you want to do, y'all, let's not go to jail for behind.
Yes, please. This is not what we are encouraging at all. Yes.
That's right. And that's the thing too, about being a CEO of your life. Here's what CEOs do. They don't just make willy-nilly decisions. They rely on experts. You better believe that's this thing, in corporate law called a business judgment rule, where basically if something goes wrong in a situation, a judge is not going to hold a director or officer liable if they reasonably relied upon advisors, experts. And that's something that CEOs get into the habit of doing. They're not trying to do it all on themselves. They're not going to mom and them for their mental health treatment. They're going to professionals who are trained, who are objective, and who can help them see, the truth, and not just tell them what they want to hear and have some wine over it.
Right. Exactly. So I want to get back real quick because there's a couple of points I want us to get to. So one is deciding it's unhealthy, right? Knowing what you want. 1, 2, deciding it's unhealthy. 3, making a clean break. So we're gonna break and we're gone. In that break, be sure you have a support system set up. Okay? This with your girlfriend is going to be really, really important at this point. When you make that clean break, you need an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Accountability partner and some professional help at that point. Okay. You make the break, allow for grieving.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Allow yourself to grieve. I'm going back to the comment of the young lady. She said she was married for 35 years. And although she was the one that actually filed, it is like a death. You have lost something that you were very familiar with, years, months, whatever, that you go through the same stages that you would if someone was to physically die out of your life. Yeah. Allow yourself to grieve.
Yeah.
Don't be so tough to where you say, I'm just not going to cry over this. Allow yourself to cry.
Right.
Crying is a normal emotion. I believe, if God didn't want us to cry, he wouldn't give us that emotion.
Yeah, you gotta cry that stuff out, let it out, because you hold all the toxicity in. You hold it all in, and then it either explodes or it implodes. It explodes, and you the one out there with the baseball bat and the match and doing all kind of crazy stuff. But that stuff, has to go somewhere, or it implodes. You slowly eat yourself alive.
Yes.
You eat your insides out, so to speak, because of the caustic nature of the pain that you're feeling. So you got to let that stuff out. And, I just want to say, we're getting closer to the end of the hour, and I do want the CEOs out there. Remember, we always want you to take yourself off mute. We want to hear from you. So if you have questions, if you have comments that you want to make, please make sure that you put them in the feed. We will make sure that we answer those. And then for those of you who don't want to put your question out there in the feed for everybody to see, you can just inbox me and I'll make sure that we get that question answered. But remember, CEOs, you got an expert on the line. You've got someone who can answer your questions. So make sure that you take yourself off mute and put those questions out there. So I know I keep interrupting you. She's trying to get through this list, y'all. But me with my, I got something to say about everything. I keep interrupting. So, but anyway, girl, get on back to your list. I try to be quiet for a little bit.
Perfectly fine. Allow for your grieving. Don't be desperate. Seek out.
Thirsty.
Don't be thirsty, boo. No.
Thirsty.
You can tell I'm not up to speed with the word is. I'm still in therapeutic mode. I'm like, don't be desperate.
That's why this the girlfriend's guide to being a CEO. So she's being all professional. But see, I'm gonna bring it to you real. Don't be thirsty. Don't be out there thirsty. Don't be part of the year. Okay, I'm sorry, go on.
Don't be thirsty. Check that. Make sure you write that one down. One of my things too that I did during one of the breakups that really broke me was I loaded my bookshelf up with healthy stuff to read, healthy things to pour into me, just in case, not that it was, but just in case it was me that needed to be in a healthy place. Like if I needed healthy boundaries, then I needed to know what does healthy boundaries look like. If I needed to not be codependent, what is codependency? A lot of times, what are those characteristics? What do they look like? Yeah. If I was being thirsty, then I need to know how do I have this self-worth about myself that I don't need someone, even if they're unhealthy, to be in my life.
Yeah.
So stay busy. Another thing, take up some crazy hobbies. I did ballroom dancing. I absolutely love ballroom dancing. I don't have the time to do it here lately, but I loved it. I joined a group in Pensacola. I was driving 2 hours on Sundays just to dance. I would drive to the group, drive back home Sunday night in order to be at work on time for Monday. Mm-hmm. But I love ballroom dancing. Absolutely love it. I just tried something new. I was like, you know what? I think I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so ballroom dancing, yoga.
Uh-huh.
And yoga did two things for me, body-wise and mentally.
Mm-hmm.
It puts you in, mentally for me, it taught me how to connect to myself.
Mm-hmm.
It taught me more about my own intuition and how to pay attention to those things. And it's okay if my body tells me that it's not okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And pay attention to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, for me, because it's funny that, you know, you talk about, not funny, the parallels between, you know, what you're sharing about how important it is to keep yourself busy and how important it is to keep moving. Because one of the things that I started doing, you know, after my divorce was I started running. I used to be a runner. I've run off and on since college. And, you know, I went out one day. This was probably day 4 or 5. I don't know, 4 or 5 after my husband announced that he didn't want to be married anymore. And I said, I'm going to go for a run. And I go for this run. And, you know, I know I looked crazy. I did. You know, I just have to admit it, because I went for this run and the whole time I'm screaming. I mean, it was, I really needed that release. So it was the physical release of my body moving. And, you know, I did all kind of cussing and screaming, cussed him out, cussed everybody. I mean, you know, but I just got all that stuff out, and I just ran until I got tired. And it was such a cathartic moment, because, you know, there is nothing like, you know, the movement of your own body to remind you that you're still here. You know, because you know, our first inclination, I know, you know, the first couple of days I was catatonic, you know, once I had a chance to be catatonic, because 3 hours after he told me he didn't want to be married to me anymore, I had to go to work. I had to go do a leadership talk on being resilient. Yeah. And I'm like, God, you tripping. Really do. This man that just broke up with me, you know, told me he don't want me no more. And now you want me to go talk to these people. But it was the best thing ever, because it recalibrated my thinking. And it just so happened the message that I had to give that day was what I needed to tell myself. So, you know, things don't happen by chance, but it is so important for you to get out there and to not think that the best thing for you to do is to be by yourself. It's truly not. When you think you need to just lay down and die, you know, you may feel like I just want to lay down and die. Or I just want to just lay down and be by myself. Truly, you need to be out there and get yourself. And, you know, sometimes you have to go in, go out, you know, but it's really important to do that.
Yes. Connect to friends. That's my last one. Is connect to friends.
The right friends.
Right. And that may be this circle of hobbies, of this new hobbies that you're developing. So if you're running, your new friends may be people that are in your running group. Mm-hmm. You know, now you have a different commonality there of running. Yeah. And that I did a 10K after I divorced my ex-husband. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I did it though, but that was just one of those things I had challenged myself on. Do it. I know, right?
Yeah.
To actually, I'm a run, and so I remember doing a 10K many years ago. Yeah. That's not now.
You can still do it. You can do it again. You can do it.
I'm going to challenge myself to do that, but I need to finish this doctorate program because, that is taking a lot of my time.
I'm just gonna say, girl, I ain't gonna even let you off the hook. I ran while I was finishing up my doctorate. Yes, ma'am.
What? Oh my God.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Anyway, so
you can
officially wipe that out. But anyway, one thing that really, really is important to remember is, you know, when you connect to friends, you truly got to connect to the right friend. Do not go connect with the friend who just broke up with her boyfriend. Misery loves company. But don't do it. Don't do it. And then you got, because, I have a friend, bless her heart, is still a bit bitter about a relationship that broke up years ago, and she's still carrying it on. And so I know that's not the person to go talk to when I'm not feeling good about whatever. You really have to be protective of your space and make sure that you are picking the right people. So I did let you get through your list.
You did, thank you.
Even though we had a couple of interruptions, like I said, I always got to put my little 2 cents in there. But I know that this is something that's so really important. And so I just want to give you a couple of minutes to just, one, just reiterate your list so that people who couldn't follow, me and all my interruptions, couldn't follow your list, make sure that everybody has that. And then just give us a couple of closing remarks about, getting through the breakup and the fact that it is indeed a process. And one of the things that I hope y'all really got is this, how Shelia talked about the importance of recognizing that in order to avoid the bad breakup, you need to begin in a good place to, in your relationship. So that's just something that's really important. So anyway, I'm gonna turn back up to you. I'm trying to be quiet.
We're gonna test now. Know what you want. Decide it's unhealthy. All right. Make a clean break. Allow for grieving. Pay attention to the signs, guys. Don't be thirsty. Invest in some self-help stuff. All right. You're doing good, Stephanie. Stay busy and connect to friends. You can talk now.
I did. But as always, I just want to thank you so much. I mean, you always bring such great wisdom. And I think, it is so important for us to have resources and have people like Shelia who are committed to helping us help ourselves. Because, she can't force any of her patients to come see her. She can't even force them to talk when they get there. But being a CEO of your life is about making those choices to help you help yourself and to avail yourself of the professionals that can help you get to your healthy place. So it is time for you to check out a Heartbreak Hotel. Yes, ma'am. Check out and make sure. So Shelia is one of the many mental health professionals out there who can be your travel agent to help you get into a new place, get into the Love Hotel or something like that. But anyway.
Yes, we're going to check into an exotic resort.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm all about exotic. Yes, ma'am. But anyway, Shelia, we just want to thank you so much. As always, it is so great to have conversations with you in the C-suite. And I just want to give you just a couple of closing remarks to just, tell people how to get in contact with you and just to share your final remarks.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. You can reach me at www.riverspsychotherapyservices.com. Our telephone number is also listed on that website. I also have my email address. You can also friend our page on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I believe we're on Twitter also. So we look forward to hearing from you, and stay tuned to our page.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Shelia. As always, it's great to make CEO moves with you. Until next time, I'll see you, girl. All right, everybody. I just want to thank y'all so much for joining. And just remember that tonight's episode was brought to you by Deciding on Joy. My journey from breakup to breakthrough in 30 days, the roadmap from getting from breakup to your breakthrough. Please go over to www.decidingonjoy.com to get your free chapters, as well as learning how you can get your pre-order your copy for the book that is scheduled for release in September. So as always, y'all, thank you so much for being in the Conversations from the C-Suite, the Girlfriend's Guide to Being a CEO. The C-Suite is where women create the lives they desire, the businesses they want, the careers they deserve. And it's all about equipping women to make those CEO moves where you are creating your circles of influence so you can connect to better opportunities. You are educating, elevating, and empowering yourself so you can get to the next level. And you are operationalizing the information that you learn so that you can optimize your outcomes. Because remember, the power is not in the conversation, but in your CEO move. So don't just talk about it, be about it. Don't just wait for good things to happen. Remember, weight broke the scale. Now is the best time to do what needs to be done. Your life is the product of your choices. Choose to be the CEO of your life. I am Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, your host, and it has been my pleasure to have conversations with you in the C-suite. And I look forward to connecting with you on our next episode. And remember, you can always go to previous episodes to see previous episodes at csuitewomen.tv. csuitewomen.tv. You can catch prior episodes and make sure that you don't miss out on any of this great conversation. So until next time, thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who joined us. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you so much, Nisi. Thank you so much, Marie. We really appreciate you being a part of the show. And we'll see you next time in Conversations from the C-Suite, the girlfriend's guide to being a CEO.